Hey y'all, gonna wait and give everybody a second to show up. I know it took me a second with all my technical difficulties to get in here, get on here. Hey girl. So glad y'all are here. And I know that a couple, hey Keela, I know a couple of you already sent me messages today that they couldn't make it live, that they were going to watch it later. So here's something that'll be incredibly helpful that I can explain now that this is, I think I've got this figured out. So I'm using a cool little application called StreamYard that allows me to manage my live videos a little bit better, and also allows me to record things for you when we're not live. So you can actually click on, I think if you click on my video or you click on StreamYard to give it permission for you, I can actually see your comments or who they're from. Right now I see your comments and I don't see who they're from, but I have a little bit of a workaround where I have the comments loaded in another tab. And I can probably post these directions later, because to be honest, I don't really fucking know. If I'm being 100% honest. So we are going to chat today, and I really tried a way to figure this out that makes sense. Yes, this makes the most sense for us during this time to chat a little bit about this Scorpio full moon energy, y'all, because I made that post earlier. Really having you call in your intentions, choose a card, choose out of the cards on the spread. We're going to go through them today. And then we're also going to do a little bit of something that I like to call a reverse reading. It's not really a reading at all, but I like to call it a reverse reading. It's the closest thing I can come up with to sort of explain the concept. And it's really just going into the cards that are already associated with this moon. So these are cards that you can use to lead your spreads if that's something that you do with your cards at home. You can use them at the top of your spreads where it's a card that you already know. You can exalt this card for this moon time if you like maybe keep it featured on your altar, keep it out of your deck, or just use it to sort of shine the light and use it as the lens to read your spreads throughout this moon time. So I like to go over those cards as well. It would be interesting if any of them show up in this spread, because this spread I randomly picked earlier this morning. I got really just a message from the universe and like a universal download this morning, mid-morning, about doing this. So I just decided to do it and kind of throw it together. So I'm not really sure what's in this spread either, but we are just going to talk about the various aspects of the Scorpio moon and what it can bring up in us. And as you probably saw on the post in the Facebook group earlier, when I kind of dove into what I really like about this moon and what it's calling forth in us, it's really a lot of this water element. So Scorpio, obviously as a zodiac sign, is a water sign. And we know just from understanding how the elements affect us as humans, that water sign is a lot of emotion. It's a lot of how we feel. It's a lot of what's going on internally inside of our body, inside of our consciousness, and inside of those feelings that sometimes lash out, but are also stuck in the box taped up in the back of our mind, right? So it's what I like to call digging deep, or digging up the garden and seeing what's there. But during Scorpio specifically in the water signs, it's a time to cleanse it and wash it all away. So this is yet another amazing day for this alkaline clearing meditation. If you've been practicing with that and toying around with that since we did it together on Sunday, it's a great time for a spiritual bath, which I'll talk about a little bit later. It's a great moon to make moon water in. So we'll also chat about that a little bit later. But the first thing that I really want to get to with doing this is trying to get people to understand why the hell I'm doing all of these lives. And I'm also going to start converting the lives in which are not sharing private information, like our group circles, onto YouTube. And really what I think is my place here. As we know, many of us do similar things as to this, and many of us are here in these spaces for different reasons. And the cornerstone of my reason for being here is simply to disseminate information. That is what I feel like is necessary. I feel like if I know something, you should know something. If you know something, if I want to know it, I should get to know it. And vice versa. I feel like we should be, especially as women of color, we should be passing this information down and sharing it with each other. And that's any information, to be honest. That's like information on parenting, health, wellness, magic, reclamation, social justice issues, anything of the sort. I feel like it is our responsibility, if we have some sort of scope in on this, on these practices, or in on this part of the world, that we disseminate this information and we get everybody involved, right? And on that same note of getting everybody involved, I want to echo a sentiment that one of my mentors over YouTube that I love, Steph or not YouTube, excuse me, Instagram, Steph, who I love, goes by Dr. Midwife, and a dear internet friend of mine. And something that she says very often to the people that she follows. And she always will talk about her free Black time. And she's always like, I'm not wasting my free Black time. You should not waste your free Black time. And she asks people to like get involved and get, like she calls it like get moving, or just like get active. And she says this when she feels like people have been quiet for a while. And it's her way of calling people to arrive. And I like to see that and twist it a little bit in my own consciousness, because for me, it kind of travels back to that place that we were in earlier in the week when we did the live about you're worth it. And it's really about you are worth whatever you're not getting from all of these engagements that are happening. And I'm seeing this happen on Facebook. I'm seeing it happen a lot on Instagram. I'm seeing it happen a lot on the interwebs. And so I feel like because we exist in this space of the interwebs, we should talk about it. And I do think that it correlates with our Scorpio full moon energy. So when I say like call someone to arrive, calling you forward, stepping up, and that you are worth the effort, what I mean is that the things that you are ingesting, the people you're putting yourself around, the spaces that you're deciding to travel in, whether it's over the internet or in person, are you getting everything out of those experiences that you really want? And is it because you're not showing up? And this comes from someone who, by the way, is guilty of not showing up for years. I spoke to one of my mentors earlier this morning on the phone about the fact that she feels that I've like arrived to a space and she can see it. And I'm like, yes, I've arrived. I've arrived at the place of refusing to hide. And having spoken to a handful of lovely goddesses in this group this week, one-on-one, I get that sense of hiding, and I feel it because I'm like, and we're all experts in that shit, right? And so I want to challenge you to understand your worth around not wasting your free Black time. So if you're engaging with people, if you are in a Facebook group, if someone's sliding into your DMs, if someone's asking you for something, if someone's like, hey girl, I just want to chat with you, like leaving you messages and stuff on your Facebook, which I've heard has been happening a lot this week. People are reaching out to each other. They're seeking that connection. Make sure that you're engaging with them in an authentic way, because then you're not getting the juice either. Like they're not really getting the true you, and you're also not getting the juice of the connection from that relationship and the uplifting that they want to do for you. So I'm continuing my call of calling people forward in the group, but I'm also continuing my call to call you forward in your life, of like the people you're engaging with, the places that when you do decide to emerge from your house, the places that you choose to go, and the people that you choose to surround yourself in, and the YouTube videos that you're watching, and the TikToks that you're like, I don't care, like whatever you're engaging in, engage in it like at 100%, so that you can like get something out of it. Like you like a TikTok, that's cool. That's why I love TikTok, because people are like, I'm not just gonna watch cool videos on YouTube. I'm gonna like participate and communicate with these videos. And like people are like doing riffs of other people's TikToks constantly. Like I don't understand that world, so please don't try to talk to me about TikTok and think that I'm gonna understand. But I think it's really cool that people are just like getting involved, and people are learning about like video editing, and it just just was the source of all this really cool interest and people engaging in a new way with one another. So I challenge you, as you come forth, you wash clean, and you move forward into this new line of thinking in this Scorpio full moon, to show up and not waste your free Black time. If you are in spaces where you're kind of like, you're just like staying meek and like staying to the corner, and you're not coming forth and asking for what you need, and allowing people to serve that purpose for you, and you're not allowing your genius to be seen, yes, you are doing yourself a disservice. So don't waste your free Black time. Don't waste it, because it's free, and it's free because our ancestors paid for it. So don't waste it. They're watching you. They can feel it. So getting back into good evening, y'all. I see more people are coming in here, by the way, before I continue on to this crazy rant. Oh, hey, Chloe. I love y'all. It's like every time I see one of y'all's names, it means something different to my soul. So Scorpio full moon. We talked about water energy. We talked about the elemental side of the Scorpio full moon. But this is really about transitioning a lot of this fear that builds up around manifesting, right? Like we've been working on manifesting the last couple of moons, and just earlier in the year in general, we've been working on manifesting all the things that we want, creating structure around the things that we want. And so this is really a time that we kind of take the fear that comes up with showing up, right? Because showing up means that you have to be vulnerable. Showing up means that you got to step into the spotlight and be seen. And that's scary shit. So there's fear built around it. And as we dismantle this fear, it lightens our load so that we can transform and travel into blooming light and possibility, honestly, endless possibility. So where are we going to grab this energy from that we're using to move? Because we're already on the train. It's not a question of like, how do I get moving? Like it's already happening. Scorpio full moon is doing that. It's enforcing it into your life. If you're questioning if you're moving, it's because you're doubting yourself. Let that shit go. You're moving. You're doing the thing. You're on the journey. You're on the path. So it's really about where are we going to get this energy from? How are we going to sustain? How are we going to sustain ourselves, our spirits, our overall energy in general? And that this is really the time to, like I said, dig up the garden from earlier. This is a really great time to explore what you can get rid of. Let that shit go. And for a lot of us, it's constructs that have existed since we were children. For a lot of us, it's things we've been carrying on since before we were even 10 years old. For a lot of us, that's root chakra work, right? So this is a great time to stir that shit up and then let it go. It is not needed here. It is heavy baggage, and we can't keep carrying this heavy baggage and slamming it down in each new space that we arrive into, because then we have to unpack it, and continuing to unpack that stuff over and over and over again becomes re-traumatizing after a while. It's no longer healing. We're just continually re-traumatizing ourselves. So we want to release that and really allow ourselves to come into the new. So we're going to do our spread, and then I'm going to do the reverse spread, as we said before. So if you chose card, I guess it's card L, left, this is the card. We're going to discover it together. And it looks like it's the Two of Cups, which I love. Oh, it looks so bright too, for some reason on that filter. But the Two of Cups, and you see these two roses intertwined, and it's like this ultimate lovely gushy connection. It almost reminds you of like two wine glasses, like out on a date or something with a partner. And that's really what that is. And I love that it's a cups card, by the way, because we're over here talking about this elemental water energy. So that's kind of fucking amazing. But this is really like looking at your connections. This is really the type of energy that it's going to take you to move forward and fuel you in this journey, where your focus really needs to be. And it doesn't mean that something needs to necessarily change. It just means this is where your focus is. This is what you're looking at right now. This is what you're letting to scoot into the forefront of your view. And so these are your connections. This is anything from a lover to a friend to an acquaintance to somebody who's been sucking your energy. This is how examining how you're connecting to people, and if that's authentic to how you actually want to exist and move in this world. Because I was talking to another queen in here today. I was talking to Jasmine, and it's like there's something I write in my journal every time. It's a phrase that I like to use a lot. Everyone can't hang. And everything can't hang. And what that means to me in this type of light of the Scorpio full moon is that everyone's not going to be able to come with you in the same capacities into this new space, and everything is not going to be able to come with you. This might mean that you're dropping off habits, you're dropping off people, you're dropping off things that used to connect you to this world. Like maybe it's something that you're like, this used to be my lifeblood, but is it still relevant now? Is it serving you now? And it doesn't mean that it's bad and it never needs to come back. It might just mean that you're reevaluating, shifting things along for the future and where you're going to go. So how are you connecting to other people? What are your current connections like? And how do you connect to the world on the outside? It's not just connections between humans, it's connections with the world as well on the outside. So really just examining that. If you chose card to the left, if you chose card number one, I don't know, I didn't put numbers to them, but however you visually saw this spread. Second card in the middle, another cups, because apparently that's the type of day we're having today. This is the 7 of cups, and I really like it because it has like the moon on the top and the sun on the bottom. So, and because the cups are going both ways, it's almost like you can't tell which way is up. You're like, which way does this card face, right? Like if we didn't see the almost like the mountainscape, and if we didn't see the card labeled at the top with the Roman numeral, we honestly probably wouldn't know which way this card faces. And that says a lot about the 7 of cups, is to be careful of deception. And in the Scorpio full moon, with the way that I see this, is that it's not so much being deceived by other people. That we're really good at finding. That we're so good at finding that we make it up half the time. So like we aren't like really trying to turn that up right now. It's more of us being deceived by ourselves. And a good way of putting this is that all of the structure that we drew with the former full moon, all the structure we've been trying to put into to making our rituals, and making sure that even though we're in COVID and we're all at home, that we still have some sort of routine to our day, laying out plans for our future endeavors that we really want to obtain. All of this structure that we're building, that we really need to make sure that we are staying committed to ourselves. And if we're telling ourselves to show up, we show up in a space. If we're telling ourselves we're going to wake up and meditate, that we do so. And that we actually, in my personal opinion, what I like to advise people to do is to write lists. We actually write lists of what we want to do, and we try to accomplish it. And even if we don't accomplish those exact things, you also go throughout your day and write all the things that you have done. Because what I've noticed about myself and about a lot of others is that by the end of the day, we are really good at lying to ourselves. We're like really good at it. We're good at lying to ourselves that we've either done nothing all day, beating ourselves up like I've got nothing accomplished, or we're really good at telling ourselves that it's okay that we didn't get these things done, which sometimes it is. Sometimes we need a break, but this is also the time where we're in movement. Scorpio full moon, we are definitely in that, water moves. Every time you change a container that water sits in, it moves to take up that space. So as we're expanding and we're moving and we're shifting, we need that energy. We need that movement. We need that commitment. We need that discipline. So if you chose this middle card, I would say to really kind of look into watching deception from the outside. And I always say this when people are like signing up for trainings and things like that. I think that reciprocity is important, and that when you're spending money, I think it's an energetic signal. And so reciprocity, when you're learning, it's like you have to know that you're going to pay for things. That is the energetic exchange in the West that we do. We all have to eat. We all have to support ourselves. And these people who are teaching you and hosting these trainings have the right to ask for money. However, is this worth your time? This money is different in terms of how much it actually costs, depending on who you are and if this is going to benefit you. And so when you are going down a certain road of choosing to work with anyone, it's almost like watch the deception of not that this person's evil and trying to scam you. It's more of like, but is this right for me right now? Do I feel called to actually show up to this, or am I going to be wasting my free black time? So just watching for that illusion, watching for that trickery that can happen in the mind, especially with the self, of really knowing your worth and knowing that you're worth showing up. And that by not doing something, all you've guaranteed is that you're not getting the data and experience from having that experience in general. You're not getting it. You're not getting the juice. You can't control whether it goes well, whether it doesn't. You can't control the outcome. But all you're guaranteeing by not doing it is that you haven't done a thing. So last card, if you chose the right card, or card 3, I guess. Let's see. Oh shit, y'all. We got triple cups. Oh God, for anybody watching, don't expect that to always happen in the future, because I don't know if that's gonna always happen, but that's fucking awesome. So this is the the 8 of cups. Apparently I can't read Roman numerals today. And I really like I go through the visuals on the card because I do believe in intuitive reading, and I don't believe that you need to memorize the entire major and minor arcana in order to read cards. I do think that you should really just interpret how the deck speaks to you, and the meanings are helpful. But each deck speaks differently. Each meaning book that you get for a deck is different. So it's really just about learning to listen to your cards as a portal. And for me personally, and for when I see this card in this deck, the 8 of Cups, as you see, it's like they're all broken, they're shattered into pieces. But 8 is really like, especially in the suit of Cups, is movement. There's movement happening here. And so the 8 of Cups is really like moving the fuck on, like, bye, it's over, not talking, and like hanging up the phone for all the people who are just talking your ear off and you're not being able to get a word in, like bye to all the vast pain and hurt and trauma. It's like, so after, yes, talking about trauma is very, very healthy. But at some point, it's like, you got to stop talking about the trauma and move to the joy. You got to get to the honey, man, like that sweet, fucking like sticky, molassesy, like, you know, the good shit, like the yummy stuff. We got to get there. So it's just like, you're not getting any more of my fucking time. You're moving on. You're moving on even from the stuff that probably wasn't so horrible, but just like not your jam anymore. Saying goodbye to it. So it's a good moon to say goodbye to those things, but also to understand that moving into a new space causes fear. So be gentle with yourself, and to know that moving into a new space can cause a lack of almost like feeling like you don't have a lot of security. Like, where is this new space that I've never been? Think of yourself walking into a building that you've never been in before, that you're like expected at a certain time to be in a certain place, and you're like, there's no map, and you're just like, I'm not really sure where I'm going. So just being gentle with yourself. And this is why I also reiterate, this is a really good time for root chakra work. This is a really good time for really reinforcing that security and reinforcing how you feel rooted and supported, as well as any inner child work that you don't get too deep into, but that you allow to wash away. You let that shit go. So you all got your readings. Thank you for sticking around. And I also think the reverse reading is very useful. Let me know if it's not, so I don't waste my free black time in the future. But what I like to do, once again, is just go over the cards that are relevant to this moon. So I'm actually going to take off the stream. I will post a picture of the entire spread to the group whenever I'm done. So the first card that is associated with the Scorpio full moon is the Death card. And this card freaks a lot of people out. This is the modern tarot Death card. This card freaks people out. I was in another reading group with some people, another clairvoyant who was doing a reading for people about an hour ago. And one person in the comments said, yeah, I tried to do my own reading for the first time last night with my boyfriend, but he drew the Death card and we got freaked out, so we stopped. And it was just so unfortunate to me, because I'm just thinking, like, the Death card rules. The Death card is the shit. I love this card, and you should love it too. It does not mean something horrible is about to happen to you. It does not mean someone's going to die. It's really about what shows up after transition, and what is left. So Death cards usually have some sort of like skeleton on them. And as you see this little girl, you see the little girl, the adorable little dark-skinned girl who's like holding up the rose to the horse, and she's like not scared at all. She's just like down there at the foot of the horse, like not worried, even though this dude is like trampled over here on the other side. And so the Death card is really about a bunch of shit's about to change, and you are about to say goodbye to a bunch of stuff. But what's left is the good shit, and you really need to be paying attention to what's left. We're only going to leave the remnants of what you need. Trusting the universe that what will need to go will go. Leave the door open so that it can leave. And whatever stays was meant to stay. And allowing that door to kind of stay open, almost like that blowing porch door in the wind. Sorry, y'all, I'm Southern. But like that knocking screen door, you know what I mean? You just let that door stay open, because having a grasp on anything, thinking that we have a realistic grasp on anything to keep it in our lives is going to be white knuckling some shit for a while. And it's a waste of your energy. It's a waste of your free black energy. So let this death card happen. Let the things fall away. Figure out what needs to leave and let it go so that you can make space and make room. There's so much waiting for you and there's no fucking space if we hold on to everything like all the time. We need to figure out what can be destroyed and what needs to leave. And honestly, the Tower, I think, comes from the Mars ruler of Scorpio. And I'm saying that with a question mark at the end because I honestly can't remember at this moment, but I'm pretty sure it's from the Mars ruling. And so the Tower is really cool too, because it looks scary, but it's actually awesome because it's once again like what needs to leave and be destroyed. Like if it doesn't, like if we don't make the changes that are necessary to move on this train that we're on to go to our next space, the world's going to make it for us. The universe is going to make them for us. It's like when you had the feeling to leave that job and you're like, I fucking hate it here. I really don't want to be here anymore. It's going against everything I want to do, but I'm just going to stick it out. I'm just going to stick it out, but I hate it. And then every day you come home and you're like, but I hate everything about it. I hate my boss. I really don't want to be here anymore. And then like you get fired like 2 weeks later, you know what I mean? It's like, if you don't make these changes, the universe is going to be like, oh, darling, I'm going to do this for you because you are obviously incapable of accepting this change. So that is like the Tower of like, make the changes, y'all. And if you're not going to, or if you don't feel that you are in the place or in the capacity to do it, just trust the universe will do it for you. And last but not least, Judgment. I need to hurry this up because my computer's dying and I did not bring my charger over here. So Judgment is once again almost going back to that first card of the spread of really like judging your connections, judging where your energy goes. And once again, coming full circle, don't waste your black time. Don't waste, it's free now. Don't waste it. So like, is this worth your time? No, get off the live, girl. Like you got shit to do. If it's not going to serve you, if it's not watering your garden, don't be here, girl. We need you out there. The world needs you. Go. If it's not serving you, if you are getting fed by this, if you feel that you are meant to be in this space, if you want to be interacting and communicating, stay in the live. I want you here. I want you up in the comments. I want you talking and shit. So Judgment, what best judgment of what is right for you. The Death card. So in case you didn't see before, just a quick review. Death also can be used to guide your spreads. Judgment and the Tower. So quickly, because once again, my computer is dying. I hope it doesn't die in the middle of this live. I want to quickly just go over the spiritual bath or herb bath. They're called many different things. I made a post in the group right as I went live, a little bit about how to have this bath and really to focus on not making yourself wrong, but really diving into the ritual of cleansing your body. Letting all of the things wash away, submerging your body into water. It's also a really good moon to make moon water. And we'll go into what you can use moon water for a little bit throughout the week. You can use it to drink. Honestly, it's going to be clarified water for you. You can use it to water your plants, which I think is awesome. You can use it in rituals. If you're burning things, you can use it to put things out. It's anointed and essentially like what I like to think of is our own version of holy water. It's like spiritual water. It's charged by the energy of the moon. And because Scorpio is also so cleansing, I also think of it as like a cleansing moon water. It's also a great time to cleanse all your crystals. And if you do decide to take a spiritual bath and you're doing it with salts and all the things, you can actually put your crystals in the bath with you. It's a great way to cleanse them. But then also I would still suggest to leave them out in the moonlight to get some charge. Making moon water is as simple as finding a container. I like to make it clear. So I use like clear mason jars. I like to also top mine because sometimes I do like to drink it. And you just leave it out. I leave mine on my porch or I leave it on my windowsill because I get clear moonlight all night through one of my windows and I leave everything on my windowsill to be anointed in the energy of the moon. So that's as easy as it is to cleanse your crystals, get them recharged, get them charged with some new energy. And you can do that with the windowsill method. You could do it with some water this time because it's a water moon. So that's really nice. But release the attempt to make yourself wrong. Like you're doing it right. You're doing it right. You are worth it. You're worth all of the effort. And coming back to our mantra of the week, you are worthy. Thank you for tuning in. I'm going to go. I'll be in the group though. So make posts, chat, leave comments. I will leave a picture of the spread. Let me know how you're doing. Ashe Satnam. And so it is. Peace.